From civilization to fashion to gender rules, everything has changed, and the internet is not left out. The original concept of the internet has been misplaced and replaced with a greedy and profit-driven idea.
But at least a console through which you can talk to his friendly local computer and get all the information he needs.
Today, we'd uncover the secret behind the current development of the internet and how you're being exploited. Let's go. The story of the internet is one of human ingenuity, collaboration, and a desire to connect and share information. Interestingly, it all began in the struggles of the Cold War back in the 1960s. During that period, the US military wanted a communication network that could survive a nuclear attack, so they developed ARPANET, a system where data could travel via multiple routes. Because of the need it was created to solve, the internet was made as a decentralized and open network that would facilitate free communication, collaboration, and the exchange of information across geographical boundaries. This was done with the hope that it would be a platform to democratize knowledge and foster a global community. So at first, it just connected a handful of research sites, universities, and military bases. But before long, things began to take a new turn. With the invention of Transmission Control Protocol, or Internet Protocol, in the 1970s, different networks were allowed to talk to each other seamlessly. Soon, physicists, researchers, and academics began sharing data and communicating over this early internet. Then the 1980s came and personal computers became affordable. More people got online via dial-up connections. But it wasn't until the 1990s that an internet explosion really happened. A British computer scientist named Tim Berners-Lee invented the World Wide Web, which allowed users to navigate the internet via linked pages with text, images, and multimedia using simple software called a browser. Suddenly, the internet transformed from an obscure tool for researchers into a global phenomenon that anyone could access and contribute to. Soon, companies began rushing to get online. E-commerce boomed, and revolutionary communication tools like emails, instant messaging, and video calls became commonplace. While this sounds like a great development, it was the beginning of the fall for the internet from perfect space to a social menace and a means for mass exploitation. Today, the original version of the internet as a free and open space has been compromised and its ideals challenged. For one, the internet, which was initially a non-commercial platform, has become increasingly dominated by large corporations and commercial interests. Interestingly, these entities wield significant influence over the flow of information and shape the online landscape to suit their business objectives, often at the expense of user privacy and freedom.
You've messaged anybody this week? Would you share with us the names of the people you've messaged?
Senator, no, I would probably not choose to do that publicly here.
I think that may be what this is all about.
Another sad fact is that the internet has also become a breeding ground for the spread of misinformation, disinformation, and echo chambers. Also, people who use the internet are exposed to a narrow range of perspectives that only reinforce their existing beliefs, which threatens the ideals of open discourse, critical thinking, and the free exchange of ideas. Furthermore, despite the internet's potential for democratizing knowledge, access to it and digital literacy remain unequally distributed, encouraging existing social and economic divides. This no doubt undermines the original version of the internet as a truly inclusive space. Why has the internet deviated so much from its initial identity as a harmless space to a rowdy community of vipers? The culprit? Social media. When social media first became widespread, it seemed like a harmless way to connect with friends and share updates. But little did users know that it would soon turn them into cash cows for some corporate lords. Now, it's quite obvious that a majority of social media platforms aren't really about fostering genuine connections or facilitating meaningful relationships. Instead, they're all about harvesting the user's data, tracking our every move, and using that information to sell down the river to the highest bidder. To help you understand what these platforms actually do to you, think about yourself like digital lab rats, willingly handing over all of your personal information, interests, and online behaviors to those social media giants. And what do they do with it? They package it up and sell it to advertisers who then bombard you with targeted ads tailored to your deepest desires and insecurities. But it doesn't stop there. These platforms have become masters of psychological manipulation using algorithms and design tactics to keep you hooked and endlessly scrolling, consuming content that only serves to reinforce your existing beliefs and biases. Ultimately, it's a vicious cycle of exploitation. The more time you spend on these platforms, the more data they collect, and the more effectively they can monetize your attention and manipulate your behavior. And just like sheep, you keep coming back for more, totally unaware of how you're being exploited for profit. And let's not forget about the rise of influencer culture and the commodification of human interactions. Suddenly, through social media, every aspect of your lives has become a potential revenue stream, from your personal relationships to your hobbies and interests. It's almost like you've become little digital entrepreneurs desperately trying to monetize every aspect of your existence for the sake of likes, shares, and cash. But at what cost? The internet was supposed to be a land of free expression and open interaction, but now it's become a minefield of misinformation and polarizing content, all designed to keep us engaged and generate more profit for the social media giants. But wait, is social media all that bad, you might ask? Well, let's take a closer look. No doubt social media has greatly transformed how we use and interact with the internet, reshaping our online behaviors and experiences. This has affected various aspects of our lives and brought significant changes. And while social media platforms have encouraged untold connectivity and information sharing, they've also raised concerns about privacy, data exploitation, and psychological well-being.
That every day people come to our services to choose to share photos or send messages, and every single time they choose to share something, they have a control right there about who they want to share it with. But that level of control is extremely important.
One of the most significant impacts of social media on internet usage is the shift towards a more participatory and interactive online experience. Social media platforms have empowered people to create, share, and consume content like never before. Because of this, you now have the ability to express yourself, share your thoughts, experiences, and perspectives with a global audience. This has no doubt fostered a sense of community, enabling different voices to be heard. But in the same way, this democratization of content creation has also led to the proliferation of misinformation, fake news, and online harassment. How? Well, the ease of sharing information, coupled with the lack of effective moderation and fact-checking mechanisms, has made it easier for false and harmful content to spread rapidly across social media platforms. Now, here's an example. In October 2022, a conspiracy theory known as QAnon gained significant traction online, claiming that there was a global pedophile ring involving prominent Democrats and celebrities. The baseless claims originated on anonymous online message boards, but quickly swept across major social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Those who believed it didn't waste time to create and share memes, videos, and lengthy posts supporting the theory. And despite repeated fact checks and debunkings from credible sources, the QAnon movement grew significantly, attracting followers from all walks of life who found the narrative compelling. This shows just how much social media algorithms can amplify content, regardless of its accuracy, or should I say, lack of it. Furthermore, social media platforms have become a central hub for marketing, advertising, and data collection. Companies and organizations leverage the vast amounts of user data generated on these platforms to create highly targeted advertising campaigns. Whilst this sounds great, it has raised concerns about privacy and data exploitation. Users' online behavior, interests, and personal information are collected, analyzed, and oftentimes sold to third parties, raising ethical questions about the control and ownership of personal data, which have been unresolved till now. The addictive nature of social media platforms has also been a subject of intense scrutiny. The constant stream of notifications, likes, and comments can trigger dopamine releases in the brain, leading to compulsive behavior and potential negative impacts on mental health. In fact, several studies have linked excessive social media use to increased levels of anxiety, depression, and decreased self-esteem, especially amongst youths and teenagers. In 2017, Shenza conducted a study titled Associations Between Social Media Use and Depression Among US Young Adults. In this study, it was discovered that participants who spent over 5 hours daily on social media had 2.8 times the odds of being diagnosed with depression compared to those who spent less than an hour per day on social media. Also, participants who checked social media most frequently throughout the day had 3.1 times the odds of having increased levels of depressive symptoms compared to those who checked least frequently. This only shows that uncontrolled social media use is associated with higher symptoms of mental disorders. And that's not all. Social media platforms have been accused of exploiting the psychological vulnerabilities of users and manipulating user behavior through algorithms designed to maximize engagement and attention. These algorithms can then create filter bubbles and echo chambers where users are primarily exposed to content that aligns with their existing beliefs and interests, potentially reinforcing biases. Now, imagine you're a teenager who loves spending time on Instagram. Automatically, the app's algorithms learns that you tend to linger on posts about fitness influencers and healthy eating. So it starts prioritizing that type of content in your feed. At first, seeing those healthy living tips and workout videos motivates you, but then the algorithm takes it even further.
So I think building a tool that can actually allow them to do that well is one simple thing that I think is just like an interesting thing that we've heard from a bunch of people that they'd be interested in. But
it knows that insecurity about body image gets more engagement, so it shows you more and more posts from influencers with perfect bodies, alongside ads for diet products and detox teas. Suddenly you're flooded with a very specific view of what health and beauty should look like. Without realizing it, Instagram has created a filter bubble. The worst part? You may not even see contrasting perspectives from friends because Instagram prioritizes the content most likely to get engagement. Your feed becomes an echo chamber reinforcing specific biases about bodies and beauty standards, and it's really hard to break out. But aside reinforcing your securities, you're also being exploited. How? Well, with the rise of social media, the internet has become nothing else but a lucrative opportunity for various entities to make profit at the expense of the pockets and safety of others. The question is, who is making money from social media, and how are people being exploited? The primary beneficiaries of the social media boom are the companies that own and operate these platforms. Companies like Meta, Twitter, Snap Inc., and the TikTok company ByteDance generate huge profits through advertising. These companies collect our data, leverage algorithms to keep us engaged, and sell targeted advertising space to businesses. Because their business models heavily rely on user data and engagement, there are widespread concerns about privacy violations and exploitation of personal information. Marketers are another set of people who specialize in making money off of the internet. This is because social media platforms offer advertisers and marketers a direct channel to reach billions of users worldwide. So companies of all sizes invest heavily in social media advertising, influencer marketing, and sponsored content to promote their products and services. This has created a thriving industry for ad agencies, marketing firms, and influencers who profit from the attention and data generated by social media users. The rise of social media has also led to a new class of content creators and influencers who monetize their online presence through sponsored posts, brand endorsements, affiliate marketing, and subscription-based platforms like Patreon or OnlyFans. This has enriched the so-called influencers while putting pressure on social media users to conform to their proposed lifestyle. So now you know the victim of the rise of the social media in this age is you. They collect vast amounts of your personal information and use it without your consent, manipulate you psychologically and keep you engaged, in fact addicted, thereby exploiting your vulnerabilities, spread wrong information and conspiracy theories, disrupt your mental health, and take your money. So ultimately, the internet has been perverted, with its original noble purpose twisted into a soulless, money-making machine that exploits our very humanity for profit. And unless we reclaim control and demand a return to the internet's founding principles of openness, freedom, and genuine human connection, we'll remain trapped in this digital prison, forever at the mercy of the social media industrial complex. What do you think about this? Has the initial prospect of the internet become perverted? And has social media done more harm than good? Let us know in the comments. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. See you soon.